Go on the road. Will you join me for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lennius.
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Grover's excused, O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion from Kurt, seconded by Vaughn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Under public comment, I have only one listed, is Leanne Harrison, if you want to come forward.
This is not what I'm on the agenda for tonight, but the street behind Burger King, there is a dip, and it's getting worse, it's sinking. And I had somebody call me this morning that visited the mill yesterday from out of town. So when she left, of course, the sign going out to the highway says, do not enter, so she went the other way. And she bottomed her car out and created some problems with her car. And so I suggested she call the city. I don't know whether she did or not. But anyway, I wondered if it either could have a sign that says large bump or fix it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Did you get a call?
Yes.
Next, I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the May 22nd, 2017 regular meeting, city financial statements for the month of May, the Sanity Room Class B wine, Class C commercial outdoor service and Sunday sales liquor license, June 19th, 2017 through June 19th, 2018. Independent Celebration Class B beer includes wine coolers and outdoor service liquor license, July 3rd, 2017 through July 7th, 2017. Bill's Pizza and Smokehouse LLC ownership change, and the Independence Chamber of Commerce Parade Road closure. Do I hear a
make a
motion?
motion.
Motion
second.
from Mike, second by Mike. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is the approval of the claims.
So moved.
Motion by Bob, second by Denny. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Petitions from the public. Buchanan County Historical Society Annual Cemetery Tour. You want to come back up, Leanne?
Hey, we know you.
Leanne Harrison, 514 Fifth Avenue Southwest, representing the Buchanan County Historical Society, and we are asking for permission to use the Oakwood Cemetery for our 7th annual cemetery tour, and we do have the certificate of liability, I believe the insurance company sent already.
Did you get that, Gina?
do you have that? Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anything different, or?
Of course, there are 8,000 burials, so we do around 20 each year, and they are different every year. And then we have some people that are in Civil War garb and so forth to help with the history of the town.
And what's your hours that you have for that? or time?
It's Saturday, July 15th, and it's from noon until 3.
Okay, thank you. Motion to approve the Buchanan County Historical Society request to hold the annual cemetery tour on July 15th at Oakwood Cemetery. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Bob, seconded by, do you not have a voice tonight?
Martin's training me on
No, she has.
See,
Raise your hand.
He remembers
Way
from
too
what,
much
2
noise.
years ago that I said that was okay.
What if I ignore him if I don't hear him?
I've been ignored before. You're not gonna hurt my feelings.
Although, oh, do we need a roll call on this, Jones?
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lennius.
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Hope you have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Anybody that hasn't been to the cemetery tour really should take it in. It's well done. I've been glad so far you haven't had a presentation
For
on me.
you.
Well, there are several mayors that are very
No comment. Next on the agenda is allocation of a land dog park. Motion to allocate 1.34 acres west of the Falcon Civic Center for the use of the dog park. I'll let Deb kind of talk about this, since she was in charge of that committee.
We checked out several places in town, and that seemed to be the best place for it with the land. Bob Beatty was excellent helping us with it. So we'd like to use that land. And Diane Kurtz, Sue Doan, Brian Elzey, Chris Hand, Joan Dell, and Jessica were the people on our committee. They've all done an excellent job helping out. We still got a long ways to go with it, but we'd like to get the land and start fundraising for the fence. So we'd like the approval to use the land.
Mr.
Ready?
Carter's not here today, but I was wondering, has anybody ever checked out our liability for that property?
There is some liability for any city property. You already have liability for that land because it's city property. Using it as a dog park does have some change to it, but not significant. But we have to identify it as a dog park. It's like a city park. If you use a dog park, you're still using it at your own, you take on your own risk, if you will, as you would at a city park or any place else.
We'll do applications though, and their shots have to be up to date, and they won't be able to be a vicious dog, and Carter will have to look through all that stuff to see the ordinance, and an ordinance that, when they break it, the police officers can go out and charge them for it, whatever. A lot of the citizens will police it they say that in all the dog parks around, that the citizens police it the best of anybody. So,
We talked about this last week in the committee of the whole, and Deb and everybody, the whole committee, you guys really did a good job. I mean, and it was, you've put it together fast, and good job. I'll make a motion. Oh, you know what? We ought to let Deb make a motion.
You taking it
You
back?
can second it, too.
I make the motion to approve the dog park.
I'll second it.
There you
Okay.
go.
Sounds good. Have motion and a second.
Yeah.
You have to go home.
No further discussion. We'll do a roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lennius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. And you guys did do a fantastic job. I appreciate you coming tonight and being part of the committee.
Thanks, Diane and
Thank
Sue.
you.
Diane, you can't leave now. You got to stay for the whole thing.
I got my stuff done.
See you tomorrow night at 5.
Okay, we'll be there.
Who's taking John home?
Whoa, we're not good.
Whoa.
There you know where you rank. Okay, next on the agenda is the Absolutely Indie. We need a motion to approve whichever option number you looked at. It's on your laptop as the City Independence logo.
I'm not sure what, obviously I wasn't at the committee of the whole, but I've had probably 4 or 5 comments that they'd like us to table this, that they're not happy with the 4, these are business people downtown.
Really?
Is that right?
I'm not real happy with it either, but then I'm always
You're
an
not?
outcast. No, I'm not.
Well, the other night,
That thing right up there is-
we were
that-
all ecstatic. I
Uh-huh.
just, we're,
You didn't look over here, I wasn't static. That thing right there has been a logo for years and years and years and didn't cost us much. We've had to paint it a couple times or something, roof it or something, but
what are you talking about? Dan?
the mill.
Bill,
I guess I just was wondering if maybe the group, the Blue Group,
Blue space?
Blue Space could maybe meet with the chamber people and kind of take a second look at where some of this logo, because the business people are the ones that are going to be living with it the most. And so I guess that's my feeling. I guess from feedback I've gotten.
Really?
This is the one issue I've had more calls on since I've been just now on the council, but I had, it was over 10 calls. 7 of them want to keep the one we currently use, like we have on our letterhead. And there's some concerns about number 2 and number 3 that I can't quite follow, but there were 4 people that had concerns about that.
I got an email on that, and I don't see any.
I don't either, but
You'd have to be
that was a
reaching to-
concern. The number 1, I had 3 comments that looks too much like Dykes, and like, they said that the group didn't show any creativity. They used the same thing Dyke had. And 5 of them didn't like number 4 at all.
Well, we didn't like number 4 either.
Yeah.
No, it's too much
I
like the
agree.
Patriots.
And we didn't choose the one that was like Dyke, so.
Just a little trivia, that slogan, that America's name is our fame, or our, right?
See, you don't even know
America's
what our
fa-
logo is.
Yeah, I do too. America's fame is our name. That cost the city $10. That's what it cost to put that.
That was a
together.
good investment there.
Yeah, $10.
Mhm.
It was a contest, and I know well, I don't know her anymore, but I know her son, he's about my age. I know the lady that got it. She got the $10. That was probably the best $10 that the city of Independence has ever spent.
I don't want to get into a debate here tonight
Yeah.
on, I guess I just felt like maybe we need to back away and.
I agree with you, Bob.
How many months, though, have we actually been working on this? Because we've had public forums.
Well, but not with the logo. That's
No, but
just a
even
recent-
doing a new logo and stuff, we've been doing for how many months
But I don't
now?
think it's been, I think it's come out fairly quick that here's the logos and.
I think that if you want to request that Absolute Indy, call Blue Space and have them come in and meet with the downtown folks of the chamber or what have you, we can make that request. I don't know where they're at, so I won't speak for them, but for the.
Is the chamber getting a lot of feedback from its members in regards to this at all? You want to come up and talk to us?
Do I have to identify myself?
Yeah,
Okay.
she needs that.
Christian Lutz, 1709 3rd Street Northeast, Executive Director of the Independence Area Chamber of Commerce. We have gotten some feedback from the downtown retailers that they have been shut out of the feedback on this. The chamber cannot take an official position until the board votes on a position statement. Unfortunately, our board meeting is not until Wednesday. So tonight, I cannot give you an official position statement of the chamber. I can just relay what I've heard from some downtown retailers that they want us to be very methodical on adopting this logo because we'll probably use it for quite some time, and that they want to know that their feedback is being considered in the decision, and it feels like they've been shut out. But officially, the chamber has no position statement yet.
What percentage are you getting positive versus negative? I mean,
In terms of the options,
no, in terms of the businesses, are they more for it, more against it?
of having a new logo, that's hard to say. Right now, it just feels like they've been cut out of the communication loop, and
Have
they
you
just
had-
want to be heard.
Have you had anybody that was positive for it? I mean, said that was a great idea, best thing I'd ever heard, let's go for it. Have you, any of them done that?
Well, if I could
Not that I've
answer
heard.
part for you, I think part of the problem with this is we started the project and the chamber was in the middle of director changing. And so I don't think the chamber really ever got involved. And I think now with the new director, I hate to say, I don't think we need to go back to square one, but I think we need to probably get the chamber more involved now that they've got a director on. So I don't think it was intentional. I just think at the time, the chamber was kind of without a leader, somebody active that had the time to put in, and now it's a different situation, and I don't think we want to alienate everybody with something that we want to be positive.
I had only one downtown business that confronted me on it, and I asked her if she had any ideas or what they were thinking of, and they had nothing. They just thought they were left out. And
Well, some of them hadn't even
Not-
seen it.
not that they had any suggestions
So
for
in
it.
terms of the distribution of the ideas and letting people know that we do have options, just communicating that better.
Well, I think it's fine. I think we should involve them. I think we should try to get Absolutely Indian, Blue Space. I would schedule, not everybody's gonna be happy. Nobody's gonna choose the same thing. But I would schedule it for a time and invite everybody. Anybody who wants to come. It could be a free-for-all. You never know what you're gonna get with it. But I'd give everybody their chance, because, otherwise somebody's gonna feel left out.
We've never had free-for-all.
No, I know it. I know.
Must be a different
But
council.
I didn't get any calls, positive or negative on it, but
got one
I
email.
think that it's
Good,
a
bad.
good idea to
Good or bad?
invite them.
Well, good, actually. He liked everything but number
Number
1 and 2.
4.
Yeah, 1 and 4.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bob, or I think we should.
I think it's easy enough to call the folks at Absolutely Indy and bring Blue Space back in and have a conversation. I don't think that's the end of the world, so,
If
Because
nobody
when
makes
Blue
a
Space
motion,
met us out at the Falcon Center, wasn't that open to the public at that time and advertised when they were
Well-
first starting and?
but that was part of their branding report.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing here is specifically about the logo. And, we've had a, lengthy process. It's been a very, I think, a very thorough process. There's no reason to end it on a sour note. I think it's just fine to sit down and have that discussion. I don't see a problem with that, and so.
I think
we'll
they
make a
did want to
request.
try and introduce it at the 4th of July celebration, but I'm sure they can wait till another
Well-
time. too.
Well, that was kind of us pushing it too. We mentioned it and they said, well, yeah, we can. But,
Well, Yeah, let's have the conversation, and like I said, I think it's been a good process to this point. Although lengthy, but let's,
yeah, but what I would suggest is if we're gonna have like a meeting of that size, that we talk to them, and it isn't just limited to the logo that we choose. If there's steps beyond this that we're starting to think about, because otherwise, we're gonna run into this with every step. I think it should be a very open
Public forum.
public forum and not just stop it here, but, try to take care of all of that at one time, so we don't,
Clean it up.
yeah.
Well, like I said, I think when we started this process, the chamber was not in a position to be an active participant. And I think now they've got some things taken care of, and without their support, it's going to be very difficult. So I think now they're ready to become an active participant, so let's let them become active.
Yeah.
So is that something you, Al, will meet with the chamber director and stuff and set a meeting up, or?
well,
kind of
yeah, I'll shepherd this through. Like I said, I want to remind you that it's primarily Absolutely Indy, and I don't want to step on what they've already done. So I'll work with them and with the chamber and make sure that it happens.
So do we have to vote to
Say
table it?
nothing.
Yeah.
We don't have to do anything.
If you take no action, do
Yeah. No comment.
you want to table?
I was gonna say we could do a motion to table the choice of the City of Independence logo adoption.
The only issue I have with tabling it is it's supposed to come back at the next meeting. I'm not sure that we're ready for that.
I think if we just do nothing, that it can always be brought up,
Let's
back up
just
on
talk
another
about
meeting.
fireworks for a while. We'll move on.
I had one
Okay,
other
next on the agenda, under hearing and ordinances, Chapter 41.13 fireworks ordinance. I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of a notice of public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Mike, seconded by Bob. All those in favor say aye.
Right.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Now I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
You got it.
Motion by Denny,
Second.
seconded by Bob. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. And so we are now in public hearing in regards to Chapter 41.13 fireworks ordinance amendment. Did we get anything in writing, or anybody get any responses on any of this?
Not a word.
Anybody out there that was wanting to speak of this? Michelle, introduce yourself.
Good evening, Michelle McBride, 1506 Northridge Court, Independence, and I am here on behalf of the 4th of July Committee. We just wanted to bring to your attention, as you're considering your options for the fireworks permit and what folks can do here in town that maybe consider on the 3rd and 4th of July due to the large festivities in Riverwalk parks, out of the safety for the participants that come and the property such as vehicles, to maybe limit maybe being a no fireworks zone within that 4-block radius possibly. And if not, we'll respect your decision obviously, but for those community members who may participate in doing so, if they're just cognizant of the safety of others within the park, as it does draw a very, very large crowd. We just want to make sure everyone's safe, want to make sure everyone has fun and celebrates as they wish to, but ultimately the safety of everyone involved is most important during that special time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion or comments?
Carter came at the right time to discuss the fireworks.
Oh,
We're in public hearing right now in regards to 4113 fireworks ordinance. Dustin?
Fireworks. Well, the 4th of July, I said, after being on the committee and understanding what goes on, the fireworks that we put on, I've talked to Tim Donnelly. A city block is, he said, 330 feet. So 3 city blocks is 1,000 feet. So if you go 4, it's 1,300, and actually 1,320 feet roughly is 4 city blocks away from that area. You do have what used to be Woburns, I believe is Johnson's, now owns that plot that has usually puts a camper out there. Once being on the committee, we did have some issues with there. Also, the way that the way I read the actual ordinance, or how the state put it through, on July 4th and the Saturday and Sunday following it, you can shoot off fireworks from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., which if it was on July 4th and you have it during that time, you're going to run it in the middle of the fireworks that the 4th of July actually puts on. So that'd be something also to consider. July 3rd, which would not be on that day, they can run till 10 p.m. Which they do have a concert on July 3rd. And I'm sure that one's going to run past that time. So, I mean, if you had somebody shooting off fireworks in that area while the concert or the other 4th of July fireworks are going off, you're going to have a combination of the two, and it's going to either mess up the music that's possibly playing on the 3rd or the connection with the fireworks on the 4th of July and through the radio transmission, which they usually do every year. I don't know if they're doing it again this year, but that's what they usually do every year. So you might have a competition between the two, or somebody shooting them off in the background and throw things off. So just something to consider when going through and looking at that. So most of the time it's from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., except for like July 4th, the Saturday and Sunday following, or December 31st and the Saturday, Sunday following after that. So my consideration on something like this is, if not just the 4th of July, but any event that you have that's a sanctioned event by the city, you might not want to have fireworks next door to it. I mean, you have something going on in the park, a sanctioned something that the city agrees to put on, Friday Night Live and so forth, and somebody next door is shooting off fireworks in the middle of a concert, or a band concert or something that might cause a disruption. So I don't know if you put something in there that they couldn't shoot off fireworks within, if it's 4 city blocks, it'd be 1,320 feet from a sanctioned city event or city gathering that's outside, something of that nature, which should help protect the city and the event that the city is allowed to be put on. So.
So is this something then that we're gonna take action on afterwards, or?
Once we come out of hearing, then we'll have a motion to accept the ordinance or whatever,
Okay.
and hopefully also waive your second and third readings, and that way it can be in effect before July 4th.
You do have, if you do nothing, you're going to fall under the state code, the new state code, which says that these are the hours that you can shoot off fireworks on personal property. These are the types of fireworks you're allowed to shoot off. Our code simply reiterates and addresses the fact that we want to make sure there are no fireworks on city-owned or leased property, it has to be on personal property. The draft ordinance does not address hours, which is something that you can adjust if you feel like that's appropriate. There are some communities that have completely banned setting off fireworks, which is, I understand that you have the right to do.
Yes.
You cannot stop the sale of fireworks, but you don't have to let them set off fireworks in city limits if you choose not to. So you've got a lot of options here as far as what you do with the ordinance, or do nothing and fall under the state code. But we just felt like with the 4th of July celebration, the number of people that are there, we want them not to have that in the park, and really to, some of the comments, we don't think it's a safe place with that many people around to have them down there. Are there private properties in the vicinity? Absolutely. All of our parks are adjacent to residential neighborhoods at some point, so.
Kind
But
of off
we
the
don't have-
subject, kind of off the subject a little bit, Al, but has anybody applied to sell fireworks in the city limits?
We've been asked about one person that wants to sell. We've told them the process they need to go through. We haven't received anything back at this point.
Just curious.
I do expect to see one application, if you will, but that's all I've heard of here.
Okay.
So do we, in the do nothing, or even in our other ordinance, we don't have anything about the 1,400 feet distance, or?
Not unless you add that.
Okay. I mean, I think it's a good idea to have it, specified some distance away. And I don't know whether 4 blocks or 1,400, how we want to do it.
Well, anything we do, it's a starting point. The legislature and all their benign wisdom has dumped on us again and given us a few days to do something. And I think we all knew what was in this resolution. If we want to readdress it later, we can always come back and amend it. But if we do nothing, you're going to have some clown setting off fireworks in the middle of 2,000 people, and nothing anybody can do about it.
I think the idea is you want to keep it to private property. That's the start. We can control public property, and that's where most of our activities are at for the 4th of July celebration. And that's really what prompted us to bring anything forward at this point. If you want to set a perimeter around that, if you anticipate there could be issues, I think you're clearly within your right and purview to do that.
So we're looking for a motion.
Well, you're in public hearing right now.
Public hearing now. Did you write this ordinance?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
It's brilliant, by the way.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I've passed your ordinance on to all our other cities, and you're way ahead of the curve as far as addressing this when you did. And I've heard a lot of cities like your ordinance, for what it's worth. I think that's a nice compromise to protect the public who don't want to have someone blowing fireworks off right next to them, but also let people do it on their private property if they're going to follow the law. And so, I'll tell you, I've had a lot of positive feedback on your ordinance from other cities, for what it's worth.
So the state law, does the state law specify that it can't be on public property, or it just says the hours as to when they can do it?
It's a free-for-all.
Okay. So we need to address something. What are your feelings on the legal standpoint of putting a perimeter in there in regards to the parks or public properties?
That's certainly fine. I think the enforcement might be a little tricky. But, that's our police officers and sheriff's deputies always have that issue about enforcement. But, proving that it's that many feet away, unless you have an eyewitness and you have one of those little wheelie things to go out and, measure, might be the trick, in proving it. But, and then the public, how many people know exactly how much 1,000 feet is?
Right.
That might be the trick for the public to know how to follow the law.
Well, and with our GIS mapping, we can actually pinpoint a specific area and do a radius around it too, and maybe have a map out there if that's something you guys are interested in doing also, just an option.
I think the easiest thing for the public is just say so many blocks. If you say 4 blocks. Okay, 4
Yeah,
blocks. There's City
I-
Park, there's 1, 2, 3, okay, I'm in the 5th block. I'm like,
Yeah, I think so
you
too.
say a certain feet. Yeah, okay, 1, 2, start stepping it off, see how far out we need to go, so.
How close would the first house be, do you think, Dustin, to where we shoot the fireworks off down there?
Well, technically,
Very
when you shoot
close.
fireworks off, the property right beside it is privately owned. If the very end of Fifth Street, where they back the trailer in to shoot the fireworks off, that property that still has the foundation for that house is privately owned. So that person can go on that property and shoot off fireworks right there.
So
So,
we
You're
want
talking right
blocks.
next to the river?
yep, right next to the river. There's, a-
That's not,
Bud owns that.
yep.
that's a nice house, that is.
But I mean, it's still privately owned, so somebody could technically go on there and shoot off fireworks, either that or my house themselves. I mean, right where I'm at, my neighbor's house, that whole block on Corinne there, I could sit on the edge of my property and start shooting off fireworks where the whole crowd and all the kids' games and stuff are right at. So technically, if I wanted to do that, I have the right to, based on the ordinance, so.
So we probably want at least a 4-block radius.
I would say so. I was thinking 3, but that's why I just thought 1,000 feet roughly, but I say 4 would work very well as well, so. And I'd also, I mean, and the time,
There's gonna be a lot of people on Bud's property down there that night anyway. A lot of people. There's a big crowd right there.
so. But
So
no,
then would we make the 4-block radius to the east, which would be your property? Or are we gonna make it to the north?
I would say the city property, wherever 4 block is from where
4
the city
blocks
property
from-
is.
All of the parks.
Yep, parks.
So that would take you
So that would
basically
take you
from
up
the,
to- That would take you up to the 150,
it would take you up to
to the east.
150, up to the fairgrounds.
yeah.
I mean, and you could do this just on the 3rd and the 4th,
Just eliminate
the
the
certain
whole
days,
thing.
the days that, or the days that you have, like I said, the days you have a city sanctioned event. You have something like Friday Night Live down there that you know is gonna happen that night. So, and so you guys have the ability to write pretty much whatever you want to in here to make it work, so.
I guess I have a problem with getting too much private property included. I think people, if we said a 1-block radius, that would take care of that piece of property. You start taking 3 or 4 blocks away and people are gonna get upset. I guess I just don't like to take so much private property out of the picture. That's their property. And we're saying because you happen to live there, you can't.
The way that the park is set up down at Teachers Park, it zigzags where the grass is at, where the Frisbee golf is at. I mean, it's not a square. So if you say 1 block and that one person, okay, here's a block, well, then the next property touches here or there and is closer, you might be closer than what you actually think to the park itself. If you just go 1, I'd say at least you want to go 2 of it.
That's 2 blocks on all sides of the park itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be true for any of the parks?
Yes.
How's that gonna affect Veterans Park?
2 blocks from wherever the boundary of the park is.
That's across the river. You gonna measure it? I'm not swimming across there.
That'd be farther than 2 blocks across the river.
You're gonna have just as big a crowd in Veterans Park as you are.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's just as many people there. I mean, per square foot.
Yeah, well, you might, it's hard to
Could
say.
be
Yeah,
close.
we'd have to measure it out. But with our GIS, we could pinpoint it and figure out where exactly everything is at.
So if the concern is primarily the celebration in Riverwalk parks, are we better off just to identify a boundary by street? that
Yes.
Says the.
That's what it looks to me like.
I
mean,
say
because
Second
otherwise-
Avenue to the east.
I think we're gonna get real convoluted in a
We're making
hurry.
it way more complicated than this whole thing should be.
I like the idea.
So, just for argument's sake, if you look at 7th Street Northeast on the north and First Avenue, I guess you could say Second Avenue on the,
East.
or 7th Street and Second Avenue, coming back to First Street. In some areas, it's a little more than a block or 2 blocks. In other areas, it's real close to that, but, not to try and leave anybody out,
But it's a squared up.
but that
perimeter.
squares up your no fireworks zone
Yep.
on the 3rd and 4th, and I think that's the time that you're really worried about, right? You don't want to take it away indefinitely, you want to take it away while you have people there. But just a thought.
You're talking about just the 4th of July?
Third and fourth.
So do we need to amend the ordinance before we vote on it?
Gonna have
Yes.
some celebration there too.
You need to amend the ordinance, then do the first reading. If you want to waive the second, third, you got to make that amendment before you vote on it.
Works for me.
I move that we.
Well, we
oh,
got to
we gotta
get
get
our
out.
public hearing first.
Yeah, we got to come out of public hearing before we make any
And
motion.
I think we should have a time on there too as to what time it quits.
For this particular ordinance or for fireworks in general?
Fireworks in general.
They don't start until after it's dark. I don't think they start with the fireworks on the 4th of July until what, 10, 9:30, 10 o'clock?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
And it
Put it on
runs
there.
how long?
Half hour.
Okay. So they're done specifically before 11 o'clock on the 4th of July.
There's already time limits on the state, I believe.
There are.
Yeah, they'd have to be
So
done
I
by
wouldn't
10 o'clock for the,
Add anything different.
You guys know, that.
Then we're
you know,
getting really in the weeds.
Well, and the fireworks specifically, if they're shooting off fireworks half a block away during that time, I mean, you're not gonna hear the other ones. And it's so loud down there and everything that I think we're more concerned about prior to the fireworks. Don't you?
Yes.
I mean,
And
that's when it can be
that's
a
my primary
distraction, or
concern.
when there's a band or something. But during the fireworks, I mean, shoot, you're not gonna hear them anyways.
No.
well, and you definitely don't want anybody letting them off in the park itself. We have to
Right.
have
Right.
something that keeps anybody in that big of a crowd setting off even firecrackers.
Yeah. And if we go from
Because,
all of Second Avenue up to Seventh Street, that pretty much encompasses the green space that the city has that we use for parks and.
And
That's the area that the people are going to be in.
Yeah,
can I make a motion to go out of public hearing?
okay,
I'll second it.
have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next, we have,
I make a motion, we accept the ordinance with the amendment with the boundary distance of 7th Avenue,
7th Street,
7th Street, and 2nd Avenue,
northeast.
northeast to First Avenue, east. Or First Street east.
Can we redo that? One time straight through?
Yeah, do you want to read it back?
Well, I didn't get all of it because,
Okay.
The intent, if I may,
You may.
to amend the ordinance to restrict the fireworks, shooting off of fireworks to be from 7th Street northeast to 2nd Avenue northeast with First Street east as a boundary on the south and the river on the west
On July 3rd and 4th.
on July 3rd and 4th.
okay.
Got it, Ken?
Is that what you meant to say?
Exactly.
Let's make sure she reads it back before it gets seconded, so whoever is seconding it knows exactly what they're saying. Sorry, Gina,
Yeah.
put you under pressure. You wish I would have not come to that.
No, I was thinking it was a bad night for you to be gone. Okay, so I
so
have.
John made the motion. Who did I hear?
Nobody
Second.
seconded it yet.
We're gonna wait until she reads it back.
To
Oh,
fine
okay.
tune it, seconder knows what they're seconding.
I needed a second anyhow.
Ready?
Yep.
Motion to receive, file, consider adopting the ordinance for the first time with noted changes to amend, adding a boundary from 7th Street Northeast, 2nd Avenue Northeast with First Street East and the river as the boundaries for July 3rd and 4th.
Is that your motion, Mr. Kurtz?
That is it.
Perfect.
Great.
I second it.
We have a second, so I need a roll call then.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenya.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried.
Could the newspapers possibly put a good article in there about the buying and selling of fireworks and when we can shoot them off and when we can't? Because I've had asked questions.
I'd like to make the motion that we waive the second and third reading and adopt this tonight.
I second that.
I second,
O'Laughlin,
yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenya,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you, that motion is carried also.
and a motion just to adopt it.
Then we have a motion to adopt the ordinance itself. Okay. Need one more motion, guys, to adopt the ordinance.
I got a question
There you
about, right now, this doesn't have anything to do with this ordinance, but I had a woman complain about
Can we
somebody.
finish this ordinance so we get this one out of the way on the agenda? And then you can bring up whatever it is you have.
I make the motion to adopt this ordinance.
I second it.
A motion and a second to adopt the ordinance. Roll call.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenya,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you, that motion is carried. Now, what is it you have that has nothing to do with this? or-
Well, a little bit to do with it. Some woman called me the other night and said that her neighbor shot a rocket out of the back door of their house, and it went right to my place, which I never saw that part. She wanted to know if that was legal.
Probably not, because that'd be outside the timeframes of firing off fireworks.
Yeah, this was last week.
It was last week, so
it starts today.
it starts, yeah, I think it starts.
But even if it was in the time frame, you can't be
13th, isn't
shooting
it?
that towards somebody's house.
Yeah, that would still be, you can, if that's a legal firework.
You can, huh?
Shoot it, but you can't aim at somebody, that's an assault. And then the police will be charging you with assault.
Yep.
And Right?
It started June 1st. You could start shooting them off June 1st, but yeah, no, if you shoot any of those projectiles towards anybody, it can be considered an assault.
Okay, thank you.
But we are in the time limit of the state law. This was June 1st to what?
July 8th.
July 8th?
January 3rd.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of ironic. I was in Waterloo today, and the ex-Christian bookstore is now a fireworks sales shop. It's not right.
Times are a-changing.
That's right.
Okay, next on the agenda is motion to set date of public hearing for Monday, June 26, 2017 at 6:30 PM in City Hall Council Chambers for the amendment of the City of Independence Code of Ordinance, Chapter 115, Perpetual Care Cemetery. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Bob,
I'll second.
seconded by Mike O'Laughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next, a motion to set date of public hearing for Monday, June 26, 2017 at 6:30 PM in City Hall Council Chambers for the amendment of City of Independence Code of Ordinance, Chapter 41.15, Weapons.
I'll start off the discussion. As you know, maybe about 7, 8 years ago, we adopted this resolution, or I guess it was an ordinance, saying that we can't bring firearms, any firearms, into city property. The legislature made it, I think, abundantly clear that if someone is legally entitled to have a firearm with them, they can bring it. We can't regulate that. So in other words, if someone has a concealed weapons permit and they are legally entitled to carry, they're allowed to carry on city property, period. And we can't regulate that. That would apply to employees, that would apply to citizens, that would apply to legislators, council people, mayors, everybody. And so, and there's some teeth to this law. If we continue to say, well, we're not gonna do it anyway, then we can get sued. and potentially, I think, have to pay attorney fees. So it's got some teeth to the legislation. Now, I do know the city of Waterloo, the city of Cedar Falls, Blackhawk County are saying, screw that, we're not gonna follow the law. And they're just gonna hope to challenge it, and I guess they're probably gonna trot out some constitutional challenges saying that the state can't tell them they can do that, which I think is probably a weak argument. Because we all know that home rule says we can do whatever we want unless the state takes that away, and that's what's happened here, the state's taken it away. So, I think it's a pretty obvious no-brainer, at least for now, that we have to repeal this. It's, my hope is it doesn't make a hill of beans a difference.
But we're just setting the public hearing for next time, and then we can discuss that.
Yeah, but that's what the issue's about.
Okay, thank you. Did I hear a motion for setting that hearing from anybody?
You got it.
Okay, motion from Denny, seconded by by John. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion
Aye.
carried.
I just do not, I don't care. I don't think you need guns in the library. I don't think you need guns in the pool, and I agree with Waterloo and Cedar Falls, so.
Maybe if enough towns or cities get together, they can challenge it or something.
2018. 2018, next election, then we can,
That's how you change it.
Should I
Got
write
it.
that down, 28?
you bet.
Okay.
Put my
Next
name
on the
in it.
agenda, I need a motion to approve the ordinance deleting property from the tax increment finance district for the Independence Urban Renewal Area.
This has to do with two different housing developments that are currently within an existing urban renewal district. One for Mr. G, or two for Mr. G and one for Independence Construction. In order to create a new urban renewal district for their projects, it actually has to come out of the existing district that it's in. And it will have its own standalone district when it's all, when the dust all settles. But it does have to change our urban renewal ordinance and the boundaries for these new properties. And these properties will have their own timeline for how long the tax increment district lasts, at which time it becomes null and void.
If we do this, have we taken any actions previously on the current? Will this affect anything we've done in the past?
No, because these are all undeveloped properties. It's land only, so it has, there's no improvements whatsoever, so it really is a moot point as far as impact to us.
I make motion.
Okay.
I'll
motion
second.
by Bob, second by John. Roll call, please.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes,
Thank you. Motion is carried. Do I hear one to suspend the rules and waive the second and third reading on this?
So moved.
Motion by Kurtz, seconded by
I'll second it.
Hill. Roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
No.
O'Laughlin,
yes,
Kurtz,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, so I need a motion to adopt the ordinance.
So moved.
Motion by Hill,
I'll second.
seconded by McLaughlin. Did I say that right?
Nope.
Olaf.
Olaf. I just,
The
yeah.
easiest way to just say
I'll just stick
Michael.
with
That's right.
Michael, Michael, and
Michael and
Michael.
Michael.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay,
That'll
thank
be
you.
easier for you.
Okay, I need all the easy I can get. Roll call,
Going
please.
Mo.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
No.
O'Laughlin,
Yes,
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Moving on to resolutions. Resolution deleting property from the Independence Urban Renewal Area.
The last action was to modify our ordinance on the urban renewal district. This is a resolution that actually deletes the property from those districts.
So moved.
Motion by John, seconded by
Second.
Bob. Roll call.
Lenius.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Moving on. Motion to approve resolution setting date for a public hearing on designation of the 2017 Pines Edition Housing Urban Renewal Area and on urban renewal plan and project. This will set a hearing for us to get the areas back in for those two developments.
Do we have a
That's
date? in
one of
mind?
them.
The date is July 12th.
Okay.
This is the process to establish the revised urban renewal district for the Pines. I apologize for all the convoluted process. The bond council has set this up. This is as prescribed by John Danos with our bond council. So they did say it is a fairly complex process, but to abide by the current TIF laws, this is part of the process we need to go through.
Do these, with the new TIF rules, do we have to have a plan for that area if we're going to make it a TIF district?
This modifies our existing plan. In essence, this is an amendment to the urban renewal plan that we have.
Okay, so we don't have to write a totally new one for it?
No,
Okay.
as long as we're making an amendment to it.
Okay.
Okay, but this is just setting the hearing itself.
That's correct.
Yes, Doug?
I just have a question. When did you say this public hearing would be?
July 10th.
The 10th.
I've just got the stuff on my desk today to go in front of the Planning and Zoning Board. We don't meet until the 11th. That's our next regular meeting.
And we did talk with bond council about that. and
Okay.
They're okay with it.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure.
I make a motion, we set the date for July 10th for the hearing.
Thank you,
I'll
Doug.
second that.
May I correct you? This is a resolution for some reason that when it comes to TIF, they want the date set by resolution, so I'd ask that you consider a motion to adopt the resolution setting the date for the public hearing.
What he said.
Still second?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion by John, second by Mike O. Roll call, please.
Vaughn.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Lenius.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next, a resolution setting a date for public hearing, again, July 10th, for this one also,
Yes.
on designation of the 2017 Jackson Green Housing Urban Renewal Area and on urban renewal plan and projects.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Bob, seconded by
I'll second it.
Mike L. Roll call, please.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Lenius.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Okay, do we need this one before we even have the, since we're not having the hearing until July? Motion to approve a resolution for approval of the preliminary plat for Goldfinch Court at the Pines Second Edition, the city.
Yes, this is the preliminary plat. This is a zoning issue, not a TIF issue. Planning and zoning has recommended approval of the preliminary plat for Goldfinch Court.
Preliminary, okay. I hear a motion.
This doesn't involve any condemnation or incorporation from ag or anything? No?
No, this is simply saying, here's the plan, the layout, because it's dealing with bare ground.
Okay.
He has to plat it, set out the lots, the boundaries, and where are the streets, so what's proposed to be public, what's private. And the preliminary plat is just your first step into it. Planning and zoning has to review it first, which they've done and have recommended approval.
Okay, did I hear a motion?
I'll make a
So moved.
motion to approve it,
Motion by Mike O.,
to approve the resolution.
seconded by Bob. Roll call.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Lenius.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next one is the same thing, motion to approve a resolution for the approval of the preliminary plat for the Pine Second Edition to the City of Independence. Did we not just,
This is a separate parcel in the same area, so yes, we have to do this again because it's a separate plat, preliminary plat.
okay then.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by John, seconded by silent Denny. Roll call, please.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lennius.
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Moving onward. Motion to approve a resolution for the approval of the preliminary plat for Jackson Green 6th Edition to the City of Independence.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mike O.,
Second.
seconded by John. Roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lennius.
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Al,
Should be an easier way to do all those.
do we have any idea how many potential building lots that we are going to be in this,
That one's
Yes.
in both of these projects?
Yes, they've identified in the preliminary plat the anticipated number of lots. In the Pine Second Edition, it's 2. In Goldfinch Court,
That's not a date, that's approval.
I can't tell you the number of lots offhand. I believe it's 18 units that he has planned in there. And in Jackson Green,
It's 23, I think.
I think it's 23, yes.
All right.
So it's a fair number of building lots.
Thank you.
So we're still on the Jackson Green 6th Edition?
we're on G.
We're on G now, okay. Resolution to fix a date for a public hearing, is that going to be July 10th?
This should be June
26th.
26th, thank you.
June 26th? Motion to approve a resolution to fix a date of June 26th for a public hearing on proposal to enter into a general obligation police vehicle lease agreement or loan agreement.
So moved.
Motion by Mike O., seconded by Mike L. Roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lennius.
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Next on the agenda, a motion to approve a resolution creating a cash management policy for the City of Independence. Any explanation you want to do on that one, or?
This is just in keeping with our cash management policy, bringing our practices and our policies together where the state auditor had recommended. It's primarily just cleaning up some of our processes on paper, you know, the things that we're already doing. We'd recommend approval of the policy.
I make the motion.
Thank you. Motion by John, seconded by Denny. Roll call, please.
Lennius.
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Next on the agenda, a motion to approve a resolution creating a computer system disaster recovery plan document to comply with the state audit recommendations.
This has been modified per comments made at the Committee of the Whole meeting last week with phone numbers, and Mr. Vaughn is now added to the list.
I saw that.
What did he say about it?
Are you not listening?
I wasn't listening.
Well, I can't vote for it now. I make the motion.
Motion by Bob,
Second.
seconded by John. Okay. Roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lennius.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Down to new business. Pay estimate number 5. Motion to approve a resolution creating a, no, okay, why am I not in that one? Motion to approve a pay estimate number 5 and change order number 5 for payment and processing with the June 13th, 2017 claims listing.
A couple of things on this. The pay estimate is really the final pay estimate, less the retainage which we're required to hold back on the 2016 street improvement projects. Those are all complete. Some areas that were seeded last fall were reseeded again this spring prior to this coming out because the grass didn't take as well as what we would have liked. The change order has to do with adding the railroad pedestrian crossing to that project. We had talked about that some time back, where we're adding it to this project, so we're not creating a new bid environment, if you will. The one thing on the change order, and I have talked with both the engineer at V&K as well as Chig-Fry, you'll see on the change order, they still have the railroad flaggers listed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The railroad has said that they would provide that to us, so we will not be charged unless the railroad backs out on providing those flaggers for us. Again, to this point, it's been a good relationship with both the railroad and with Chig-Fry, so rest assured that we did see that. That was something that we've called into question. We aren't going to pay for it unless they have to put them out there. And
I was up by there. It looks like they put a pad in there.
the pad is in there. All they're waiting for now is the concrete has to go in. And the
So they still
concrete,
have to have flaggers for concrete?
anything to do in the railroad right-of-way, that's their policy. But again, the railroad has suggested that they're willing to work with us, and to this point they have. I don't have a reason to believe they won't, but also in the change order, you will read that they're only going to charge us for actual quantities used, whatever that might be. So there is some leeway in there, and if they don't use 4 flaggers or flaggers for 4 days, we don't pay for that. And so I think that you should be comfortable approving that as it's written. And the concrete crew that's putting that in is the one that's doing our sidewalks down here, and this has a tighter timeline than that one.
What is the anticipated completion date up there?
I don't have a date certain up there. I know that June 30th is the sidewalks down here.
Could you be a little more clear what the 38,248 is? Al? What's that for?
$38,248.40.
That was the change order.
There's two change orders, excuse me, change order 5 encompasses the 2016 street project. We had to modify the 2nd Street Southeast. They added 1.5-inch copper service lines. They had to extend the water service lines when they dug up the street. That's why it didn't get paved last fall. They ran into issues that had to be fixed before we put a new street down. So just over half of that total change order has to do with 2nd Street Southeast and the water and sewer lines that they had
Who
to
made
put
the
in.
decision to cut that road 8 feet too short, or shorter than the other ones? Isn't there?
Narrow or?
Yeah, narrower, yeah.
That was part of the plan all the way through. They had presented that in the original plans to make it a 25-foot street. If they go wider, they're taking trees out on the south, and the driveways on the north get to be significantly steeper because the street comes up into that hillside. So the street itself had to be made narrower so that we could accommodate both on both sides.
Are we gonna put parking only on one side now?
We will have to limit parking to one side.
I think we ought to go through town and sort out a bunch of streets that need parking on one side. Really?
I don't disagree.
Because you can to get through there with my pickup truck. I don't know how the fire truck could ever get through it.
They have bigger bumpers.
That's true, yeah. Not the subject of the day, but just, you answer my question.
Okay.
If you've got certain streets that you think that needs to be, give us a list of that, so when we go through it on our ordinance committee, we can look at all those.
You know, this probably ain't the time to do it, but I do know a town, pretty good-sized town, that alternates it. Monday on one side, Tuesday on the other, Wednesday on, they alternate it back and forth. And that's been going on, to my knowledge, in Marshalltown for way over 20 years.
Even on it.
It works pretty good, apparently. Haven't heard of any fistfights over it.
I guess, I don't really think we have that big of a problem right now to go to that type of a deal. I mean, yeah, it does work in towns to go and change
Want
it
to go for
every
a ride
other
tonight,
time.
Mike? I'll show you the top places.
I'm not gonna go for a ride tonight, but I guess, I just haven't heard it being a problem.
I've talked about it a lot of times, but it's always been ignored. People like you think it's no problem. It's always brought
Okay.
up, and then it's dropped.
Okay, well, I guess I just,
If you want to
I'll
go for a
reiterate,
ride,
I
I'll
don't
show it
think,
to
I
you.
don't think it's an
We're,
issue.
we're on this number
Correct, we are.
A,
Yeah.
under new business, rather than street parking. So do I have a motion and a second to approve this pay estimate?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Bob, seconded by
I'll second it.
Denny, okay? A roll call, please.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hertz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes,
Vaughn.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I would think that if Denny could give some streets to Dustin, the police department could take a look at these streets and do that, Denny?
Excuse me, Bob?
If you could just give some street names to, and block areas to Dustin, have them take a look and come back to us.
Sure.
Okay, under new business B, a motion to contract with Nora, and I have no idea how to pronounce her last name, with Iowa State University for the development of the Citizens Survey for the City of Independence.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by
second.
Mike L., seconded by Mike O. Roll call, please.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes,
Vaughn.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next on the agenda, motion to approve an agreement with Levi Architecture for the design and construction of the City Hall Steps project.
when we talked about this the other night, did we, we kind of talked also about looking at a handicap,
Right.
from outside here. Is that outside of the scope of this, or?
No, I did talk with Mr. Levi about that, about your concerns, and, we'll include all of that in the scope of the project.
Okay.
I really think that if we're gonna tear out those strips and redo them, we need to do the handicap ramp.
Yeah, and again, I'm not convinced it works, and he's not convinced it works, but he's not gonna rule it out,
Yeah.
and he's willing to,
I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least we tried.
and, one thing is when he comes in, he'll sit down, he'll meet with us if you want him to, we can, work through that. But really, the scope of the project is pretty narrowly defined, because it's, bringing the steps up to code. If we can get a handicap ramp in there, all the better. I think the one thing that's changed since he did look at it the last time is the gas regulator that had been sitting out here was removed for us. So that might give us more room.
Okay.
Still questioning if that was a new city hall move on your part.
No, we'd have had candles burning if it was.
Okay, did I hear a motion on this? To approve?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, John. Motion by John, seconded by
I'll second.
Bob. Roll call, please.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes,
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried.
Do we have Al, do we have a time frame on when this would take place?
Well, it's in our 2018 capital improvement budget, so, as quickly as we can get Dan moving on that, that's why we have it tonight, to try and get him started. I don't know if we can get a project yet this fall or not, but we'll see how quickly we can do it. Again, should be a fairly straightforward project, but we'll just see how
We
we.
might want to just block off those steps.
We're getting a lot closer.
Somebody's gonna get seriously maimed out there.
We have to get our other door open first.
Get the door.
Okay, next on the agenda, motion to contract with the University of Iowa for option number treatment and option whatever housing per the preservation and restoration of the City of Independence original petition for incorporation. We discussed this at the meeting for the whole as to what you guys wanted to do.
I'll make a motion.
Which one?
May I suggest that you consider option one, which is the more thorough treatment and casing for it? I think that is the best approach. It is slightly more expensive, but I think it's a better preservation.
That's the one.
That was the one that we really agreed upon in the meeting of the whole, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so your motion is to approve option one for both the proposed treatment and the housing part of it?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion by Mike L., second by Mike O. Roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda, motion to approve the city to enter into an agreement to purchase and install the project accounting and asset management modules for Summit Software from Data Technologies.
Is this for we talked about this a while ago, is this for tracking our capital improvement projects that where now we kind of go there, here, and sometimes we don't know if we made a payment?
It is for tracking all of our projects in general, not just the capital improvement or CIP funds, and also our asset management. Again, the ladies have done a good job of trying to bring all of that together, but this will let us track our fixed assets much more closely, the costs that we have invested in each of them, the history or anything that gets put into vehicles, for example. It's just an asset management system.
Does this build onto an existing system we already own?
This builds onto our financial software that we already have. I mean, that's the other benefit, is it builds into what we already,
Just another step?
just another module inside our financial management system. This does tie back into your 2017 priorities.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Motion by John, seconded by
I'll second.
Bob. Roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Next on the agenda, motion to approve the sale, trade, and disposal of outdated public safety firearms and to utilize trades as credit for new service weapons.
Because this is city property, we do need your permission to dispose of it.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, Bob. I'll second it.
Are you making the motion as is? Okay. Motion by Bob, second by Mike L. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Next on the agenda, motion to authorize trade-in and purchase of replacement vehicle for Police Department's 1998 Ford F-150, approving the purchase agreement with Burco.
I'll make the motion.
Is
Thank
this the truck we were
Trucks that he
talking
had
about?
out.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one that we're talking about.
I know that you were gone. They did have the vehicle here for the council to look at last week. So
Yep. Do you have any questions or anybody? I know I answered quite a bit last time, so,
It's a really nice truck that they picked out.
Okay. good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Do you need a second?
yes.
Did I hear the motion?
I have a motion from Kurtz, I need a second.
John?
second it.
Okay. Okay, motion by John, second by Denny. Roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda, motion to approve the Independence Police Department to apply for the COPS grant.
I'll make a motion to approve the,
Okay,
Just apply for it, right?
correct, to apply for it.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mike O., seconded by Denny, to approve the Independence Police Department to apply for the COPS grant. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
There was a couple
Danny?
questions on it before on how much there was. Approximately $137 million was actually put into this, the COPS foundations for this grant and a couple others. Provide 75% of the approved entry level salary and fringe benefits for each newly hired or rehired full-time officer, up to $125,000 per officer position over 3 years, so, or the grant period. So I know there's some questions on how much it would cover and so forth, but yeah, it says 75% of the approved entry-level salary and fringe benefits for each newly hired or rehired full-time officer.
do we have, it looks like it's got to be in by July 10th.
Yes.
Are we,
I've started on some of it, but I haven't fulfilled it yet until I get the approval from you guys.
sure?
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please. Or you don't need a roll call on this one? No? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is motion to approve the 2017 Precision Concrete Cutting Project proposal in an amount not to exceed $8,000.
This is the precision concrete proposal to take care of the trip hazards on city property immediately adjacent to City Hall here and the Second Street Bridge, primarily as a demonstration project showing what they can do. Also included in this is the proposal to do our sidewalk survey for us. It's $165 per sidewalk mile unless they get 25% of the project committed within 90 days, at which time the survey is free. This is a survey that we've identified as a priority to bring our sidewalks back up to par with where they're supposed to be for trip and fall hazards. The sidewalk sawing does not fix everything. They do claim they can fix between 75 and 80% of all of our issues. Some areas more, some less. There are places where sidewalk lifting, if you will, or
Jacking.
mud jacking is more appropriate. There are also cases where the sidewalk just plain has to be replaced. And there's a limit to how much they will take off before they say, you know, there has to be some concrete left behind.
I just think it's a good thing to get started on it and see how it works. If it works as good as what they claim, it could be a good thing for the city as well as for all of our residents.
And it's not that expensive. What is there, 16 blocks in a mile?
It's $165 per sidewalk mile.
But I mean, aren't
For the
sidewalks?
survey.
Yeah, but aren't there 16 blocks approximately in 1 mile?
Approximately.
So $10 a,
Yeah. No, the price is not outrageous, however it is that you look at it, but I think it's a good way for us to keep our sidewalk ordinance active and alive, and, you know, there's something we should be doing anyway.
When are they gonna do this, Al, if they do it?
I don't have a timeline, you know.
Is it this year or next?
Oh, no, it'll be this year. It'll be this summer.
I make a motion.
Thank you, John. I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mike. Oh, roll call, please.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next, motion to approve the proposal from Visu Sewer to inspect approximately 3,300 linear feet of sanitary sewer lines in the city of Independence.
This is just to draw your attention back to it, this actually has two components to it. and both have a range, a fairly extensive range. The inspection, televising, bypass pumping of the sanitary sewer, between 30 and 40 hours worth of work for $14,250 to $19,000. If needed, root cutting, removal of protruding taps, reaming of mineral deposits, and heavy cleaning would be between 10 and 20,000, depending on how much work there is to do in there, if they have to do the cleaning. So on the low end, 24,000, on the high end, 39,000. And they won't know until they get in there what they're going to run into, and that's why they're given the range.
And the main portion of this is the one that runs underneath the river.
This is the main line under the river. The one that increases our infiltration when the river goes up, and when the river goes down, we treat about 1 million gallons a day less.
So there's a little potential for some.
Something's going on. Someplace, that's the most logical. And it is, quite honestly, it's time to take a look at it. When we take a look at our sewer line maintenance, this is kind of that, the 10 million, or the 10-ton gorilla in the room that we've been getting by without dealing with. I think it's time to find out where we're at.
Is this both pipes? There's 2 pipes that go across that river.
Can't tell you if it's one or both. It's 15 and 18 inch, so I'd assume that there's 2 of them.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by
second it.
John, second by Denny. Roll call, please.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Last is the motion to approve Waste Management's request to change service days for residential trash and recycling collection.
Under our current contract with Waste Management, if they change their routes or their schedules, they do need to come to the council. They are asking permission to go from 5 days of collection in the city to 2 days. Mondays on the west half of town, Wednesdays on the east half of town, roughly divided by the river and a little bit of Highway 150, if you will. I've had questions about how are they going to do 5 days worth of work in 2. They are bringing additional trucks into town to do that in that time frame. Also, recycling would happen 1 day, even number days, whichever side you're on, the even number weeks, rather, they'd be doing the recycling citywide.
So we wouldn't lose any recycling days?
We're not losing any recycling days, we're not losing any service, they're adding manpower and equipment to do it. They feel like it's something that's beneficial for them. I don't think there's a downside for the city, other than we have less truck traffic in town during the course of the week. We have increased traffic, obviously, on Mondays and Wednesdays, but that would be it. The proposed effect would, proposed date this would take effect is July 10th.
So since there's so many holidays that are on Mondays, will it automatically be Tuesday collection on those weeks?
Right, and your current contract pushes everything back a day automatically. This would be the same.
So it's Monday, they're gonna eliminate doing anything?
Well, if there's a Monday holiday, that moves to
That's
Tuesday,
what I-
everything moves back. If the holiday happens to fall on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, everything after that gets pushed back a day. They just move everything back a day and pick up on Saturdays when they have a holiday during the week.
So on the weeks that have the holiday on a Monday, will they do it Tuesday and Wednesday, or will they push the Wednesday one back to Thursday at that point? Do they need
It would be
to?
Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesday and
They don't
Thursday,
have an
Wednesday.
open day. I'm sure that they're collecting trash someplace else if they're not here.
Okay.
So I think their whole schedule moves back.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by John, seconded by
I'll second.
Bob. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Thank you. Down to reports. Dustin, do you have anything to report?
Okay. For the police department this last week, we actually had our our annual TASER training we do every year. Our new officer, Skyler, actually got tased. It was quite interesting. He officially started the Cedar Rapids Academy today. Got to the office about 6:30 this morning, took the CD car down. He came back before I actually came to our meeting here, so I was able to talk to him. A lot of it was just paperwork and stuff to go through, what he needs to do, what he has to bring, what days, and so forth. Seems like it's really going to be interesting for him and something new, so he's excited. I'm happy to see that he's ready to go. So, other than that, thank you for approval of this truck. We finally needed one. The one we were having kept falling apart, and little things here and there were getting ready to go. We've had it for many, many years. I think we got that in 2000 and 2017, so 17 years now. Not a terribly amount of miles on it, but just the wear and tear on it and so forth. It needed to be upgraded, so we finally got it at that point. But other than that, everything seems to be running pretty good right now, so I'm happy. So thank you.
Doug, do you have something you'd like to share?
Just to let you all know, on July 5th, the Fair Board is bringing in 911 traveling exhibit. So we will have a truck that'll go to Evansdale to meet the escort it back here. And we'll probably have a truck on a couple of these overpasses here also, just so you know that what we're doing with your trucks. And what we'll do is, to go meet it, we'll take the aerial over there, because if we get a call, my other trucks are more important to me than that aerial, unless it's something really big, you know. But, so that's what we'll be doing.
What time will that be, Doug?
Pardon?
What time will that be?
Roger, what?
10 o'clock is when they're gonna meet over there, they're gonna be leaving there at, I think, 10:30.
So about 11:30 probably. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna come in, come up 150, then over to Chatham and right up to the fairgrounds. So that'll be the route coming through town.
Thank you. Was there any of the committees that needed to make any reports tonight or anything? Okay. Then I will start with you, Mike O. Do you have anything you would like to share?
Just, it'll be interesting to see. I've had more reports from people that there's more livestock in town than we realize, and it'll be interesting what our citizen survey has to say.
Are
in
they
regards
giving
to
you
it.
addresses and what the animals are?
No, I haven't. They've just alluded. I think north of Tyson's is an area that people have specified when they've complained or voiced their concern.
We need addresses if we're going to address any of it, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you. Danny?
There seems to be some issues with the process that city mows the yards. The city mowed a yard, and I think it's kind of a common thing. For some reason, by the time it's reported to us, and the officer has a chance to make some kind of headway with it, and then from that point on, it goes to Parks Department, I guess. But anyway, by the time it's actually mowed, down on 3rd Street there, that grass was over 3 feet tall. And they threw grass up on the house. Now, nobody's living in the house, but I didn't think that was any reason to do that. They threw grass up on the house, and you can go down there and look, it's still there. 3 feet up on the house, it looks like hay is up there. So I kind of think maybe there's probably a shortage of people around to mow the yards, for the city. I'm not positive that's the reason. But if it is, I'm suggesting that we farm some of the stuff out possibly and get it mowed right away before it turns to hay. You know, it's either that or some of these people should be given a license to buy a billy goat. I don't know which. We need to get rid of some of this grass way before it's actually turned into hay back in there, some of them.
Danny, did they ever go around the poles and stuff there either?
It's
I
hard
went
to
by.
tell.
Yeah.
You know where I'm talking.
Yeah, I know
It's
exactly.
hard to tell. I mean, and I'm not blaming any one person, but I think it's time we kind of look for a solution to it. And I think if the solution is hire somebody to mow it, we're getting enough money out of the people that I'm sure we can hire somebody to mow it for that, you know?
Well, I'm sure that Mr. Beatty would appreciate having additional staff.
Yeah, it would kind of take the monkey off of his back, so to speak.
the biggest challenge that we have is by the time the grass is tall enough to warrant our intervention, we provide the necessary notices and then have staff that can come over.
There's
and
no
do that.
notices per ordinance. Once it's in the paper, they can just go mow it after it's 8 inches long. That's their notice.
Well, I know that Officer Lau is taking a little bit more of a, call it a customer-friendly approach in trying to provide some
But if it's the
notice.
same people over and over, they do know it. I think it's great he goes out the first time around to somebody and talks to them, but
Well, on a
if
vacant
he's
lot.
spending a lot of time doing it, then let's go to the ordinance that says it's 8 inches long, we mow it.
Is there a lot of them that are repeat?
Well, that one down there needs to be mowed again, Mike.
But you know
vacant, I
something?
mean, nobody's living
I
there,
agree with
so
Deb.
it's gonna
I
get
think,
repeat
I
every
think it's good that he, you know, is customer friendly with them the first time. But if it happens the second time, I say go mow it and just keep doing it.
Or even the next year, you know.
It's,
If it's the same person living
Yeah,
there
if
and they
it's
got
this-
dinged on it this year, next year it's 8 inches long. Let's just go mow it, bill. Let's follow the ordinance.
Yeah, but even so, all that's fine and well, but if we don't have the manpower to do it, you know, which relates right back to possibly looking at maybe farming it out, hiring some private individual to,
But does that money come out of Parks and Rec, or where's it
oh,
come
I
from?
don't know where it's gonna come from. Where does it go when it comes out of that man's pocket that pays his taxes? Where does it go there?
Well, if that's the money we
should
use,
go
it'd be
back
great.
into Parks and Rec, doesn't it?
Well, it goes into the general fund. Parks is a part of the general fund, and any of those fines, they come in, they go, I mean, they're earmarked for general fund.
Is Bob short on mowers right now?
He's fully staffed right now, so, I mean, we can hire more people. We're gonna have to buy more equipment if we go that route, because we only have a
And if
limited.
you hire somebody, you know, individually, they got their own equipment, then
If you contract with somebody.
Yeah, right. They don't, there's no workman's comp, no taxes to take out. The list keeps going on and on. Pretty soon you'll think it's Christmas, you know?
Well, I think it's two separate issues. And, you know, obviously Deb's comment is concerning the length and not letting it go on and on, which will help with the other one. But if it turns out that, you know, subcontracting it or hiring somebody else to do it is the way to go, I mean, we can look at that too, but they're a little bit two different issues.
That's all I got.
Okay, Mike?
No, I think, you know, we had a long meeting tonight, but I do believe that this is an example of the value of our committee of the whole meetings. Because I don't know, we spent quite a while at that and really had the chance to go through all of this stuff in detail. So I think this could have been a much, much longer meeting had we not done that. The other thing, and I know that, you know, it's maybe too early in the whole process to, you know, get so excited about the success of the pool to date, but I think, you know, whenever any of us see, you know, the people who are on the pool committee or any of this stuff, and yeah, we've had ideal weather for the pool. It couldn't be any better, but from everything I've heard, there's people from a long ways away, a lot of other communities that are coming here, and it's almost, I think, become like a little water park, not a swimming pool, and so people seem to be quite happy with it. You know, right now, I think we should let people know, and I know we're gonna have that, the grand opening coming up,
When is that?
but I don't know.
July 1st,
July 1st?
yeah. But I don't know the details on it yet.
But, yeah, I think it's, maybe we've just been lucky that the weather's been so hot, but so far, it's a good thing. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Deb?
Yes, Fred Miller still sitting back there?
I think he's hiding.
Number 8.
Maybe we need to have him stand up so you can tell him
Yeah,
what
he
he's been doing.
spearheaded with myself on Amnesty Day Saturday, got his truck and got a trailer from Lane Diltz. We helped 10 residents get stuff picked up. 6 from the northeast, 10 from the south, 6 from the northeast, 4 from the southwest. Helped elderly, handed out notices for a couple weeks ahead of time. We could have got more people if the time would have went on, because we've missed. Since I've been sitting here, I've gotten a call from somebody that apparently called me Friday night, and I didn't see the call Saturday. So sorry, whoever that was, we missed them, but we tried to get as many people as we could. Susie was out at St. Charlie's when we went out there working, volunteered, and we took 2 trips out there. Everybody at Waste Management, Trinell's, was great to help us unload. We took 3 trips to Waste Management, 1 trip to River's Edge. It was a good day for some of us to do that, and we thank the residents we knocked on doors to see if we could help people out. Everybody treated us, with kindness and stuff, and everybody was great. TV pickup is Saturday from 7 to 12. If people want TVs picked up, they don't have means to get them there, if they want to call my number, my cell phone number, we'll pick up TVs and haul them for them. And then one other comment was, we got the street light up there by the light company. I got the next day calls about thanking everybody for us getting that done. They're very appreciative of it, so thanks.
Very good. Thank you very much. Bob?
Just one thing, I'm not sure what the procedure on it is, but we've got all this new sidewalk in, and I see weeds and grass growing up in the new sidewalk areas and around the light poles. And I don't know if there's something, if that's the business owner's responsibility or the city, but we poured thousands and thousands of dollars into putting new sidewalks in, and I don't know, maybe some people think it's rustic looking, but I think it's kind of tacky looking to have grass growing up between the cracks of new sidewalk.
Get some weed killer out there, huh?
Roundup.
I do that on my street.
Anything else?
Okay, that's it.
Nothing else? Nothing about Germany or anything?
No, it's just, they have good beer there.
Okay. John?
I wanted to thank everybody that participated in Amnesty Day also, because hopefully it got some properties cleaned up. And when I was up at Waste Management dumping my stuff, I thanked all those guys up there, because they were really organized, and man, they just did a heck of a job, and just had a steady stream of vehicles going in there. So I guess now we need to really clamp down on the violators, because they've had their freebie time. It's time to get them cleaned up, and I know a couple that need to be aggressively pursued. That's it.
That's it. Carter, do you have anything?
Apologize for being tardy tonight. But I'm glad I was here eventually. So, that's all.
Gina? Nothing? Al?
To answer Councilman Hill's question, yes, it is the property owner's responsibility to take care of that. Downtown, are there things that we can do? I'll take a look at that. But, sidewalks are the property owner's responsibility for maintenance and upkeep in general. So that's the short answer.
Does that colored concrete have to be sealed or treated or anything?
It is sealed. The question is, and we've been talking with the contractor out here as to whether or not we need to or should be considering resealing it every couple of years or every so many years. But they do seal it right when they put it down, so it does have that sealer on there.
Wasn't that too, the first year, they're supposed to, they can't use the ice melt on it?
Right, the sealer is supposed to help with that, but, anything with ice or corrosive nature is very hard on new concrete. And so we're, downtown, I believe we put out buckets of sand for the property owners to put on the sidewalk so that they weren't using salt. And that's something we did again last year, I know, but, yeah, we'd just soon not be using the ice melt or the salt on the new concrete, because it'll pit it.
Really seems to spruce up those side streets when you look at the sidewalk on it. You didn't realize, you know, it even makes the storefronts look nicer, you know, along
The only other thing I have is, I know Deb and Bonnie, Gina and I attended a training last week on eminent domain, and Gina sent out the document from that, so you should have that in your email. Very interesting, short course on the pitfalls of eminent domain. That's all I have.
Did I miss anybody? I've heard lots of good comments on the pool, too. Everybody seems to be happy for it. Not sure what our details of our thing on July 1st will be. I need to get together with Bob and Angie to see what we can do for that. So I'll give you information as that comes out. And also, I've had a lot of comments about having Amnesty Day. The people in town were glad that that was even an opportunity they had. But I definitely want to thank Fred and Deb. They went beyond the call of duty for that day. Maybe we need to be looking at some of the Silver Cord kids or
We attempted
Boy
that.
Scouts or something to see if we can get some help on that, because you guys got a lot accomplished just between the two of you. So if we had a couple more people with trucks that could do that, would be nice. Otherwise, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Got something.
Other than just that, I know for the Fourth of July, we had like wrestlers or football team come down and volunteer time before.
Do what?
For the Fourth of July, when putting up the fence or putting up different banners and stuff, we had football team or wrestling teams come down and assist with that. So that might be something that might be able to help next year when doing something like this.
Oh. Okay.
We had a basketball team come down one time and did some volunteer hours.
They could hang all the holiday lights.
Yeah, see?
That's not something they charge for, or you have to make a donation?
We talked to the coaches about coming down and help for an event, and they came down and, they helped pick up trash right after the event. I know at the beginning, a group came down, helped put out banners or put out the trash cans where they needed to be and help us set up, so that was an option that we had for the Fourth of July committee.
Good. Okay, thank you for that information. Now, an motion for adjournment.
Let's go home.
Motion by Denny, seconded by Bob. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are